This one psychologist whose work I got did my couples therapy training in here in Canada. I did couples therapy training in South Africa, but it was nowhere near as good as what this was. And she likens our experience in relationships, in intimate relationships, to the tango. She uses it, and it really works. I can't remember the 5 steps now. I'm going to go and look it up.
Rest. Thank you. So welcome, Craig.
Morning,
Nikki.
Craig. Morning, Nikki.
We're gathering. Allison brought in allowing the lessons. It's allowing the lessons of our life, and what she noticing to surrender and then tango or dance. Even in our darkness. So in that it was choosing the lessons.
And choosing how to respond.
Here. Differently. And noticing the same way that responding, the same way responding, because that is the coping mechanism.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it is the best coping mechanism. Doesn't mean it is the best choice, because that automatic fall into, especially in the darkness, that automatic is just what was from the past. It doesn't leave any room for new lessons. So
what I heard in that is welcome all of it. Instead of selecting, instead of rejecting the part that isn't pleasurable. All of what presents itself is purposeful.
Yes. Yeah, I tend to slice out. Oh, I want that. Throw that away.
Yeah.
Not that.
But I don't want this.
That. Yeah. Especially in the pain or in the darkness or any of that.
Yeah, I think we all do that.
And we'll mimic the patterns that we see.
I chose my breath work again this morning
Mm.
and my choices. And I didn't do it yesterday, and I did it the day before. I noticed the difference.
Yes.
So I chose them today. And again, I noticed the difference. But yesterday wasn't intentional for that. It was just my reaction to waking up and how like everything had kind of come together, come to a point. And there was a place that needed to come together, gather, and let things, and like in the middle of turmoil, to allow my mom to help. That's difficult. Then to allow my family to help, and that was amazing.
Mm.
Allowed my son to help.
That's great.
And then I had a great friend help me too. Allison, thank you.
Mm.
So with that, I look forward to today. Grateful. I woke up at home for my family, the love for my kids, and the love that I can give. That is my gratefulness this morning. Thank you for the space to share it with you and not keep it bottled up, choked up, festering inside.
It's so interesting how I'm just thinking about what we're talking about in terms of old patterns and new ones. And what you said now about being able to share, not bottle it up. And when you think about it, it's movement. It's movement when we share, and it's clenching when we bottle it up. And when we can allow, as Craig said, instead of slicing it up, it's the same thing, right? When we allow, there's movement. When we slice it up and separate it, then there's the opposite of movement. And it depends on how long you stay with that stop, as it were, in yourself. Because we all need a base, which is an anchor, to move from. But if we stay at that base for too long, then we don't get what there is to get from it all.
Which
It's a little
means
bit like,
we have to learn it again and again, or experience it, because we're not learning it. Experience it again and again and
oh
again.
God, yes.
And of course, it's their fault that I am experiencing it again and again and again. Huh,
Yeah.
weird.
But at the same time, none of it's personal.
Hmm?
At the same time, none of it's personal.
Yeah, but I mean, Craig, it's like,
At a high awareness, like you and I can talk and agree with that without a doubt, but our conversation is not for us.
yeah. So it comes back to alignment. Darling Christy, like I'll always remember that when she looks at me with this puzzled face. Says, well, why didn't you just align yourself? It's like, duh.
You mean Christy Goodlett?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Those gorgeous eyes of hers, and that puzzled look on her
But
face.
look on the side.
What the fuck are you up to? God, she's divine, that woman. I absolutely adore her.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that was after how many years? 30 years? 35, 40 years of meditating. I have to have somebody say to me, well, why didn't you just align yourself? Oh, God. And I just love that that she's a farmer. I just appreciated that so much. Just so down to earth.
That begs the question, though. What exactly are we aligning to?
Mm. And so why do you come up with that, Craig?
Because it's another one of those terms that you hear over and over and over again that nobody ever talks about. Nobody ever asked that question that I just asked.
Why don't you tell us?
Well, what I've been discovering over, especially over the last 10 years or so, but even more recently, and I've even become more aware of this as I was exposed to the magnetic mind community. But there's something deep inside me that's wanted to be in sync with something, but I haven't been clear on what that might be until recently. And I found it in one of the 4 core choices, and that's true nature.
Hmm.
And for me, true nature answers the question, who am I?
Hmm.
And what the hell am I doing here?
Hmm.
And the answer to the question is one of those, it's one of those expansive answers that seems to get larger
Mhm.
as I contemplate it.
Mhm. As you allow it, as you invite or gather the lessons, you bet.
Invite it and welcome it. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Because what I've come to see is that creation's natural state is expansion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, as scientists have observed the universe, it just keeps getting larger and larger and larger. And that's observable by human eyes, which to me means that it's a truth of sorts.
Of
And
sorts.
well,
How can you have a truth of sorts?
thank you, Jesse. So it's a truth, a capital T one.
See, that's the first word, right? Is true, is truth, true nature, truth.
Yeah.
You bet your ass. And I thank you for the true nature purpose that I could wrap into the word of genius, greatness, and gifts. Oh,
So, anyways, back to alignment. And personal choice. To me, it's about making the conscious choice to be expansive. To be creative, to be expansive, to be my part of the expansion that's happening.
to
To be
play your part.
Play my part. Yes. Good word. Good word. Thank you, Jesse.
I'm going to have to go. So I just want to say something before I go. And I'd like to thank you for that, Craig. It's once again for me just demonstrated how privileged I have been in my life with what I was able to experience in my 20s and my early 30s, especially when I met my main yoga teacher. And for me, being given good techniques in meditation, that expansiveness and that connection that I felt was what you found, Craig, with our true nature, that you know that took you on a path which, as you're describing, you couldn't go on before. And I don't know where I would have been in my life if I hadn't been given what I'd been given at such a young age. I don't know how I would have, I think I would have been very lost. And dreaming about people before you meet them. I'd seen a picture of my teacher, but I hadn't met him. And I had 3 very significant dreams about him. And that was in my early 30s. So there were experiences that I had that left me with no doubt whether I could live them was another matter altogether, but they were a container for me. I could always go back to that point.
Did you realize how significant that was at the time?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the first time I meditated, I realized how significant it was.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sensing it's even more significant today.
Oh, yeah. The older you get, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the blessing of growing old. And I like it. Okay, guys, have a good morning. Love you all. Thank you
Love
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Big love, Allison.
Thanks, Craig.
Bye, Alison.
Bye, Nikki. I'll send you a picture of my hairdo
Oh, I'm looking so forward to it.
from yesterday, not from this morning.
That's okay.
I looked like I had a haystack on my head this morning.
I'm sure, but
Bye, guys.
A little heaven in the beauty parlor, I take it.
Yeah.
namaste, Alison.
Recover health and send it with you as you scatter. Interesting.
Could we explore alignment some more?
Mm-hmm. I'd love to invite Nikki's word for the day. And then we can for sure.
Morning, everyone.
Good
So
morning,
yeah,
Nikki.
my word for the day is faith.
Oh.
Faith, faith, and more faith.
Thank you. All right. Let's align, allowing the lessons of life, surrendering and dancing, flowing and stuck as our true nature, the expansiveness of our base, that we can move from and not try to hold on to. So in that, it's like, constantly realigning, refocusing, reorienting our expansions. What more would you like to explore with aligning? Which I say is what we do here.
Yeah.
We align our base, a new base every morning. Mine, yours, everyone else's that shows up. It's like we are steadying in it. That's a truth that I say. It's like the truth that expanded from yesterday's truth for whatever lesson was there, for whatever we needed through it. And yes, it doesn't always go how we want it. And when we can be at peace with that, we can allow it, we can see it, and we can say, oh, what could I align to?
Yeah, I just got this vision of establishing a new launch pad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course, right? As the rocket changes, you have to upgrade. As the genius comes out, yes, those are the lessons that we need. How else would we build a stronger launch pad but change it? Because it isn't very good if that launch pad can't support the thrust of your genius, the expansion of your genius.
Each of us has the capacity to change the vibration of humanity.
And that is how it works. It takes every heart.
So which direction do we choose to take that vibration?
Mhm.
Expansion or contraction?
So wonderful. Yeah. It's like when you think of expansion, try and put a negative feeling to it.
Hmm.
Can't.
No, no, no. They can't
Now,
coexist.
now contraction. Now do the same with contraction and put a positive to it. We do more of that one, which is why that one's easier. All that does is reveals our automatics, our tendencies.
Hmm.
So that is creation. When you like it, why expansion works is because when we're one, if we're not aware of the charge of it, we wouldn't know how to align to it. And use what's already there.
Isn't that alignment? Using what's already there?
You know, it could be misalignment too, unaligned, disaligned. Because we can use contraction, which is probably already there as our foundation. Not first one, but it's the one that we can remember because we keep replaying it.
Hmm.
But it wasn't the first one that created us, that brought us into the world, and the one that we first knew for the first 2, 3, maybe 4 years. But who remembers those? Energetically, but not mentally, not
Ooh.
thinking wise.
Oh, that's big. Yeah, energetically. Mm.
That's why the feelings are so important. It's the only way to get yeah. So here, let's go to a truth about it. I think it's a truth about growing up. So yes, I think a truth. It was the same thing that I caught you on, Craig. So the truth is that we explore and find and learn our genius without the thinking, rational, self-conscious ego mind for the first 2 years. So the only way that we can be experiencing it is through the feelings of it that began in the mother's womb, which was your mother's feelings. And those feelings show up and they become patterns, right? Reactions to it. And then all of a sudden the ego comes in and says, well, somebody's got to get a hold of this ship, right? We're going to get the direction and orientation going here. So when I can start putting words together, people have been telling me all these words. And so then I start taking them in and I start telling myself those words.
Hmm.
But those words are only driven by the experiences, the feelings from before.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants to go back in the past. So now as we get older, we think of therapy, we think of all like, how do we help? And we use all the words to go back to unpack the stories. Well, that is half of it. And I think it's only shallow because I don't think we're using just the words and the stories. I don't think we can get below 6. So if
Yeah.
you want to clean all your shit from now to 6 years old, be my guest, but you won't go anywhere.
Right. Because the root of it's all in your earlier years, right? Pre-verbal.
Yeah, all built on that, built on the emotion. But when you ride the emotion, when you tap into the emotion, the energy of it, it's timeless, it's spaceless, it's everywhere, it's nowhere, and it's something. And the beauty is you never know what will show up in it.
Mm.
You could go to the beginning of time. You can't do that in your mind, in your head. Self-conscious has never thought that would be possible because it only existed about 4. So how else do we share experiences but through the feelings, through the emotions? And that ran through time. That runs through generations. That's how patterns are established. That is how learning is passed on.
Mm. Yeah, if you're relying on your cognition, then conceptually you have to draw a line at your conception. You can't go beyond that.
Right. Without awareness, I say, yeah, without awareness of it. And then it can be aligned.
So there's a difference between aligning cognitively and aligning energetically.
And yeah, one's bigger than the other.
Yeah,
One came before the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, another way to say it, it's the difference between my 45 years of experience and all of time. That's the slight difference between it.
Wow. There's a deep comprehension that's going on right now for me. This is really wow.
And just in time to share that enlightenment with Sindrell. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sandra,
Who's all here?
Nikki.
Nikki,
Hi,
Craig,
Nikki.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Allison
Hey,
was on
Cinderella.
earlier.
I somehow peeked in on the YouTube side and I said, wait a minute, let me get in on the other side.
Oh, you have a special link, huh? Oh,
I don't even know how it happened.
I love it.
You guys brought me in.
called
what
the law
brought
of
you in?
attraction.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not fighting it. It was some deep conversation. It would make life so simple if we were really aware of this knowledge and taught it at 6, 7, and 8, so we could know ourselves and choose the selves that we know.
I say that is why there's so much misalignment, distress, depression, anxiety in our youth today, in today's time. It's that transitional part.
Young people are making the transition though.
When their support structures will allow them to, which
Yep.
is their parents.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a support structure. 'Cause as an adult, I find myself like seaweed is just like clouding the whole clarity thing of knowing inside. You know, there's a essential truth to be flowing in, but it's like it's so obscure. And yet you know that it is. I come back to the little story. It's like, are you my mother? Are you my mother? Are you my mother?
Oh
Are
yeah.
you my truth? Are you my truth? Are you my
Lucky little
truth?
bird.
Mm-hmm. I know I got a truth somewhere in here. It seems so obscure. I mean, and just waking up today, it's like I was conscious of different thoughts, like just present, the flood in. And I had to, it's like, I gotta make choices already. I'm like, you go away. Okay, I'll think about this. You go away. This is what I'm doing today. This is what I choose. It's like playing tennis with all these balls coming at you and batting things away. And then it's just like, you know what? That's too much energy. I'm gonna just be. Let all of that other stuff be what it is and not engage with what? Not engage, except choose what I want to engage with. And then I came on, I touched my phone and I was on YouTube.
Could that be an aligned choice?
Yeah, because I choose to live the life I love. Forget that other BS.
And your thumb automatically took you there.
Yeah, I love that part. But I still had to take an action, right? Like your choice is always there. The best choice is always there. But then I had to take action to participate in that alignment. It's like loving somebody. It's nice to love them or to be loved by them, but when you choose them again over and over again, that's awesome.
Playing your part of your expansion.
Mhm.
And like aligning, we won't, it's, we only can say alignment like in the moment or after the fact. Uh, So it's not like we align and then say, oh, like, oh, it's like I'm going. It's not like we can have the intention to align, but to see it has to be in the moment of now to be, oh, there it is. And it's not like you're looking for it.
No, or just being present with the energy
Mhm. That's right.
that's in the moment.
Yeah, because I mean, time is continuously being and passing. In the moment, in the moment.
The energy is continuously in motion.
Mm. How do you know you're alive? Energy in motion, emotion. Moving. The only way we know is the movement, which is the action, which is as simple as breathing is the action. Simplest. And what happens to your emotions when that breath is compromised? That's an alignment. Yeah. Where does your focus come? You start you start thinking about that breath, I would imagine,
Mhm.
but not until that point, do you?
That's interesting because the death experience I had as a child, I suffocated.
Mhm.
I couldn't get air into my lungs.
You would know about it more than I would.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a little weird. So I was thinking of not the movie, but the term Night of the Living Dead and focusing on the living dead.
Hmm.
And
hmm
I lived many years dead. I was
Yes.
walking around.
Ugh.
I was functioning, but
Yep.
I was not choosing anything.
No.
Emotionally detached because I didn't want to feel the pain. So I hardly took deep breaths either.
Yep.
Me too. And that is not living.
No.
You know, it's interesting, even Jesus used that terminology. You know, he said, you're a bunch of dead people walking around.
Oh, and then what about, can these dry bones live?
Yeah, exactly. And then he turns around and says, I have come that you might have life. I have come to put life into you. To present could.
And what was that life? It was knowledge. It was awareness.
More. Expansion.
Oh my goodness. So we came here and we came outside of our mother's womb and all of that. And we've had to take this full circle to come into the awareness that we are super consciousness, right? We are that. And we are life more abundantly, but we must be connected to that knowingness, and functioning in that knowingness. But when Jesus came, he didn't lose his identity of who he was. He came with all his knowingness. And he came to mirror the reflection of that knowingness. So in our choices, we would go more to the light and live and have that spirituality more abundantly. It's like putting seeds that were in a shadow, not getting any light, any sunlight. He came to bring the light so that we would start growing and becoming aware. It's like, let me infuse you with some of this stuff here, because you need more of the ingredient of being aware of yourself, so that like you'll thrive with it. And let me see where you go from there. Let you see where you can go from there.
Yeah, but all of that is already there in each of us. But it's obscured by this death experience that we're having.
So was birth really, should we really call birth death?
Well, all of humanity seems to experience a life of death. A contracted life. A life with conditions.
It is. What's there for me is thinking about that transition, yeah, from birth, like before birth, and then to birth, and then on. And I can only imagine that we would want to go back to that environment that we knew. That environment that we developed in. Just imagine going from that environment into a new one. I mean, does every baby come out happy?
You don't hear very many stories of babies laughing when they're first born, but you hear a lot about them crying.
Now, is that your first traumatic experience that's yours?
Yeah, it would be.
Did that happen to you?
Or was there a choice in it?
In the
Did
3D
did you choose
world?
it?
Well, of course. I mean, but if we're talking in the life of death and our uniqueness of that, it's like the mechanics of it. Um, I have to look at the responses. I have to look at the behavior, and if we don't enjoy it, we are going to fight it and cry and be. I mean, these are not like crying babies. These are like pissed off, angry babies for the
Scared,
first time. For the first time.
scared.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
different. It changed. What the hell happened?
The
That
epitome of
emotion
fear.
stays there. That emotion stays there, and we're trying to figure out what it is. And so we attach the words to it when we can.
Well, we're also exposed to very dense and heavy energy in the environment.
Not to mention just how damn cold it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the energy of the people that are around, the first ones that touch.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I had to kick out the first one. Ooh, Allie.
Mm.
So we're
Good
now
evening,
aware.
Allie. Sorry, Central.
No.
Allie just joined us. Hi, Allie. Good evening.
Hello, hello. I realized the time there now. Yeah. Don't know where the times went tonight. How is everybody?
Expanding.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I love it.
How about you? What's your word?
My word for today. Conscious.
Mm.
My word today. I like that. Be more consciously aware of what's going on around us.
consciously aligning to our expansions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And being true. Being true
Yeah.
to ourselves.
Mm.
Put me on the spot there. I love it.
I
Into
love it
that.
too.
Mm.
You're right on the spot where my mind is just being born and the umbilical cord cut and all of these people touching me
Hmm.
before I'm
Wow.
in mother's arms. And like, that's a whole lot of stimuli to be conscious of. It's very,
Wow.
very disconcerting. Like, what the freak is going on?
Yeah.
So what do we do with that knowledge now?
If you feel in the energy that it doesn't serve us, we have to let it go and consciously choose an end result of what we do want, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say, and I say like the importance of that is the awareness of like that's of where it came from. It's like the importance of the emotions, of the feelings, of the charges that we experience in our life. And if we're aligning to our genius, that's going to be a positive charge, emotion, feeling. And then to just realize like why our patterns have the foundation they do allows us to change it. And that's what I worked with just imagining two things that I'll say with it. One is like the limitations of our words. Like we can only change to the point of those words showed up with meaning. And then the other one is like, well, the meaning was attached to the emotions, which were there well before the words. That's the meaning for me this morning, Sindrell.
Mm.
Those were not a choice as we know of choice today. And yes has to be part of our choice to be here. Our choice to experience life, our choice to choose the lessons of life, our choice to walk around being a zombie. Like, why we're walking around being a zombie? I can put it back. We want to get back into our mom's womb. As gross as that sounds today, but that's when it happened.
Yeah, well, that ain't gonna happen.
But it doesn't mean that we won't look for it. See the difference?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that we don't want it.
I think that I can imagine that I do want it. There are those times when you just want to like cuddle.
A whole new experience with the same emotion.
Yeah.
Ah. Importance of human touch, yes.
For me, I wanted to go back to the other side.
Mm.
I wanted to escape. I wanted to escape this energy.
Mm.
It cramped my style.
But how do you know the energy isn't even more profound on the other side?
The energy is
Mhm.
profound all over the place. Wherever it is. But I really didn't like the constriction.
Where's the constriction?
Constriction in the 3D reality. Being limited to a body.
But are we really limited to a body?
Well, no, we're not, but
Perception.
that's what's so profound about wanting to escape it.
Mhm. Or avoid it. Yeah. Get away from it. Don't allow it. Not surrendering to it. Not being aware of it. Yes. All of that we're really good at as walking zombies.
Right, exactly.
But for me, the power and the magic of it and the joy of it and is to even have this body and not be and still not be limited. I could be a flower. I'm not limited.
Yeah, but you could live limited and you could live unlimited.
Yes. And when I wouldn't allow myself to look up and be encouraged and experience the sun, as we spoke about earlier, the sun shining on me, that I might have life more abundantly. It says, open up your heart and let me come in. To, that's a choice. It's also a responsibility.
Have you ever met anyone who lives unlimited?
I think I have, yes. Mm-hmm.
I want to meet this person because I sure as hell haven't.
No, it was a person who, there were two people that come to mind right away. One was a person that I met so oddly. I was in a school and doing, how you in a computer room and you're working and people are coming and going. And this guy was in my class. He was older. He was maybe like 6 or 7 years older than me. It was people of all ages. It was like a workforce training program. And we just like the energy just like connected there. And we talked. And then there was a place like an open farm market. And I don't know why wheatgrass is coming back to me at the moment. I tasted wheatgrass for the first time. But to make a long story short, he started telling me about himself. And he says, I'm going to tell you something that most people, and he looked around, they're not ready to know. And I'm like, what? He says, I'm a walk-in. I said, okay, what the freak is a walk-in? And he told me what a walk-in was. And in short, it's a soul that goes into a body. And he was renewing and rejuvenating that body so that he can walk around on the earth. Like this is a vehicle. He took a vehicle, a body that was dead and that had been in some type of accident. And he said, I've healed this, I'm working on this is what I'm working on. And but his soul chose to be here, but he wasn't born. He wasn't born from a baby to be here. He was chosen. Now, call me crazy, call him crazy or not. It felt like truth, and it just didn't even trip me out that he was telling me this. So I don't know why I shared all of that, but it has something to do with the body not limiting you. It's a way of communicating and moving around in this realm of existence.
You know, Cinderella, I'm totally blown away that I asked you that question, because this person you described just now, that really rings true to me. It's not. Oh, wow. I'm a walk-in. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I mean, so it's, I want to say, and I'm stuttering because I don't want to say it because it's harsh. I feel like it's harsh, but I still have to say it. It's like, so, you know, if you're a walk-in, and just stop fighting the assignment that you chose to do. You're 1,000% totally equipped to do this thing, and to choose it in joy and empowerment and in love and in authority, and stop letting limitations limit you, because you know you're so much more than any limitation that is perceived or brought to you.
Mm.
It's like, stop acting like you don't know who you are.
Mm.
You got homework to do. Just do the damn homework. Do your freaking assignment. Because you ain't leaving here till you get it done. And you're going to love the accomplishment because you're empowered to do it. You are it.
You know why I'm laughing? Oh, this is funny. This is funny. Because that's what God told me when I died. He said, "What are you doing here?" And I don't remember how I responded, but it was like, "What are you doing here? No, you're not finished. You're not done." And it was like, "You're going to be there till you finish. You're going to be there till you complete your assignment." And that's all he told me, but he sent me back. And it's very interesting how you didn't reframe, but you basically recreated that conversation for me just now. Oh my goodness gracious.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know who I am, and I know why I was sent.
And to live that unapologetically.
Yeah. Well, that's the trick.
Yeah. That's the choice. There's a word that says bowing down and serving other gods. And on this earth, it's like you don't bow down and serve no other gods. You be who you be who you are. You be who you are. And I don't think the limitation is your body. I think the limitation is bowing down and giving homage and accepting limitations from others who are no more than you, and you have your assignment. They're just part of your existential drama for you to act like you know who you are.
And that's alignment.
Yeah, like I'm looking in the mirror at me, I'm like, how
Yeah.
much of this is my stuff? This is how
Yep.
can I benefit from this?
This lesson, this moment, this situation, this circumstance. What can I learn? Hi, Joe. Welcome in.
I just marvel how that true nature was formed by this life.
Even without awareness that that's what it was doing.
Exactly.
Only in reflection, only in looking back at it from now, can we say, really, if we allow ourselves, we could say, oh, I see how that all comes together for this moment now, for that I am creating, for the choice that I am in now, because it's different than it was then. That's all. Just different. So
And
what
realizing
attachment?
that there was hundreds and thousands of miracle moments that all came together to form this.
So what matters is our attachment to that of the past. And the attachment is overarching. Is it positive or negatively charged? Because that will determine what's possible going forward.
So here's a bus and a confession at the same time. And I'm seeing a pattern. So the question has been coming to me is, like, I wake up in the morning, it's, the desire to live in my true nature and purpose. But what are the activities am I engaging in the day? Do they go the opposite way? And so sometimes you can get involved or committed to something.
Yes.
That does incite, excite, you commit, you say, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. And that thing brings you to a sort of a lifestyle. But when you're choosing from your heart to live in your true nature and purpose, and yet when you step out your door, you're engaging in things that are not aligned with your true nature and purpose, because that's the commitment, that's the job that you signed up for. It's like, what the freak am I doing?
Mm.
But the commitment is there and it's so much invested. Am I more attached to what I invested,
Mm.
or am I going to allow myself to be true to my true nature and purpose,
Ooh.
which you don't know what that's going to bring.
Mm.
So what's going on, Jesse?
I
I
love
hear
that.
you. I hear you. I hear you.
I totally love that. You're so right.
So
Just note, like, it's the uncertainty.
yeah.
So to be like true with that would be like, which one would be better?
Oh, intellectually, spiritually, I know which one is better. But when it's coming to sitting down and paying my bills, it's like, you got to pay these bills, girl. Will not my true nature and purpose provide all my needs? I don't see it.
It's, yes, I'll just point that that's an expectation.
That I don't see it.
The expectation that the genius will pay all your bills.
Well, there's a lot of starving artists out there.
Yeah. And now we're unpacking where the structures come from. Yeah.
I'm sure I got trunks of unpacking to do here.
Yeah, me too. We all like, those are the lessons of life. Like, no
Why
need to
can't
beat
I
ourselves
just...
up on them.
No.
I love how it has to be one or the other.
Does it though? Does it?
No, it doesn't. But I love how you made it one or the other, and I make it one or the other too. So that's where yes and helps me, because I can look at, well, how can I have both? How can I
Right.
have the best of both? How could I have the best of both? Because we're always in a transition.
Yes. And the yes and really helps, because I'm seeing where the realm of one thing is fulfilled also. But I have to allow that realm for me to integrate with that realm to get that which serves my alignment and leave the rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know I had to work on, like had to, but I chose to do my work right out there, let's say, with like all of you and in the world where it was far enough away. And now it's coming into the family. Now it's coming closer. Yeah. But the foundation is being established.
That's the awkward stage, like the adolescent stage of creation, of individualization creation.
Allowing the expansive lessons of life. the base from which we launch? Are we in alignment? Is our base aligned? Is our rocket aligned? And it's not always, but the aim, the choice that could be is like, how could I align that? Well, one with a true choice that hasn't happened yet, that's out there that you can be now. So that's like a full circle wrap up into is like why the emotions, the feelings, the charge, it's so important. And aiming, if we don't know specifics, we aim for the expansive, for the love, for the joy, for the happy, the peace, the good charges that we want. And when we're notice ourselves caught in the negative charges, that we know we can choose something new when we want to get out of it. And every day is an up and a down, up and a down, up and a down.
Yeah, my greatest challenge is the detaching.
Today, up to this point.
Yeah.
So you can choose to be done with it and then choose the next and then see what the next one will be. Or we can choose to hold on to it and keep saying it like, nope, that's mine. Yep, that's mine. That's who I am. That's my idea. That's my thing. That's my thing. That's my thing. See?
Our inner dialogue really matters, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Like more than
Mm.
what we would ever known to believe or ever taught to believe from our parents, from culture, from religion.
How many times have you ever talked about it with someone else? Like what your inner dialogue is?
That's not a conversation.
A few
No,
times.
no.
Mine's has
Yeah,
been
exactly.
that conversation quite a lot lately in the last couple of weeks. It's been coming up.
It's one of those, you don't talk about politics with people.
Yeah,
It's like a taboo subject.
it real is, isn't it? So bringing that to the awareness for ourselves is huge. And getting into our core orientations in the morning is crucial. It's so important to wake up and be grateful.
It can become a
bringing-
foundation to launch from
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day. And we do it here together.
No. It's like, how long do you spend building foundations? How long are you on a self-development journey? Because this is quite a new thing for me. How long are you in that foundation level before you start? You know, because
I think it's 111 days today. That's it. That's it. Just 111.
That's amazing. It's so bloody cool.
Never thought it'd be this.
We didn't know what it was going to be.
Right,
That's
Cinderella? Yeah, did not know.
Yep. You don't know. But look at the beauty of this. A space and place to feel your own inner emotional dialogue and give
Yeah.
it a voice to, it's like sculpture, to again choose how to shape it.
Really, so good.
We each get to shape what feels good and right and supportive for us, and let the rest go.
Mm.
Or choose to hang on to it and keep replaying it. Which is denying the lesson.
So you hang on and you hang on and you hang on and you hang on and you hang on. And then maybe or not, you get to a point where you go, oh, let me let some of this go, and or you let some of that go, or even just not in fixing, but in creation, some things just go away.
They do.
Thought patterns go away and shift.
Mhm. Like another way I found is like when, not that you have to put attention on it, but it's like it just happens. It'll be part of the expansion in the creation.
Yes. Yes.
You know, it's like in the true choice, like in the true choice that we choose, the money can be there. Like the structure, all you do is build the structure, and it's like, oh, there's a structure of money. How could I? And see, not every artist is asking that question, which is where you can separate that you're not all of those starving ones.
Ooh. Like, wow. Because if you don't ask the question, then where's the space for the answer? For you to see the answer's always there. But for it to be revealed to you and you see it for what it is. So ask the question, how can I have abundance living the life I love?
And sometimes I don't get anything with that. You know, and when I do, then I ask for timing. I go to, okay, do I need to know today? No, great. Oh, see how we can let that go.
Then I can just paint all day and not worry about it.
Yeah.
And paint for the love of painting and not for the dollar that it brings.
That's right. That is the lesson, because the two cannot go together. Our creations can't be limited by that. That's what I'm learning. Because only one can drive the show.
And it's
Only
the
one can be the
essence.
attraction. Yeah, the main attraction.
And isn't that what people are more attracted to want that painting, because of the essence of the energy that emanates from it, that attracts them to it, to I'm gonna have that.
Yeah, and then they reach in their pocket, right, and pull out the hundreds and thousands of dollars that you want for it, and they like there's a whole line of them willing to do it.
Yeah. So
How many
instead of,
times have you visualized that?
I haven't, but I'll play there
Mhm.
today. Ooh. I had $100 on a painting, and I was like, no, put 100K.
Yes. Yes. Well, I have to do that too. When people say no to my offers, I just increase the price.
Yeah.
It's true.
Love to be in a negotiating room with you.
Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. You want my best deals first. So just say yes to it.
No, I
Because
didn't say I
you're
want to be
increasing my cost. You're increasing my cost, even though you think you're negotiating with me.
No, I don't want to be negotiating with you. I just want to be the fly on the wall and see their expression. Huh? You're making me
Half the
work
time,
harder.
and I'll never point it out to them. That's my new offer. I mean, in all reality, I'm doubling the cost of everything of mine. I'm just shaping it a different way because they've said no to my for the last 16 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There is such thing as an appreciation of creative activity. Yeah. Mm.
I call it a yes and project. A yes and project only needs, Nikki, right? One yes. Because when one says yes, they will all have to say yes. Now that is a powerful project.
Yep, the yes is the launch pad.
Mm.
It is. It is so much so. Yes, and is the launch pad. Mhm. Yes, and what's next? Yes, and what's next? Yes, and what's next? And oh man, even in the darkest times is where that matters the most, and where I'm still don't have the good pattern to say yes and. See, that muscle isn't built up enough yet. I spent most of my day in that yesterday, and it was miserable. Ugh. But then I can love today even more.
And it's willing to sit in that awkwardness to get the and.
The unknownness, right? The uncertainty.
I guess it's the faith as well. It's having the faith.
Nikki, faith. She brought that word in today too. Yes.
Good
job.
day. Go,
She did.
Nikki.
I love it. Yeah, I guess when all them uncertainty comes in, that's when we really have to dig deep and focus on what it is and choose faith and always know that things always work out. And I was reading a thing from Abraham Hicks the other day, and it was said, what we don't have right now, we're not ready for. We don't need it because we're not ready for it. So the sooner we start focusing on it and bringing it in and feeling the emotion, building the thought patterns, that's what she called them. It's really cool. So faith.
I'm resting in what you just shared, Nikki. Um, you're not, you're not ready for it yet, and being it to see it and living now in the emotion as if it were builds the
Foundations, the thought patterns, she calls it.
exactly the words I was trying to bring out my mouth.
And
Yeah.
then she goes on, to talk about all the cooperative components of the universe cooperate, and that's how we manifest. And then she went on to say, you know, you really are the only uncooperative component of your vortex of creation. And I'm sitting there in the chair, like mouth open wide, like, really? Did she just say that? Yeah. So what are we consciously focusing on? What are we consciously thinking of? What's our dominant thoughts? What emotions are we sitting in? Where are our our emotional state for the morning, for your routine for today? Who are you choosing to show up as? Who, you know, what are you bringing to the world today? Like my day's done. I've had a brilliant day. It's been productive. I've spoke to all my favorite people in the world today. Like, life's good. I got my house back. It's been since October. I got my house back. So life is bloody good. And it was the last day of summer officially yesterday, even though it was bloody roasting today. So hopefully we'll get some cooler weather coming.
What do
So
you
what
mean
you
you got your house back today?
I've had family over visiting. As soon as them borders open, I live in Perth in Western Australia. And as soon as them borders opened, we had relatives and family itching to come and visit us. So it's been fun. It's been exciting. It's been expensive again, but then that's a negative a thing around money, isn't it? So we don't even go there. We just talk about how fun and exciting it was, because at the end of the day, you can always make more money. And to be friends with money. Chris Duncan does that magnetic mind meditation, the money one. And that's such a good meditation, you know, and that gets you to look at your feelings and emotions around money, how you grew up, what did you see with your parents and the people around you, how was money used and spoke about, because that's where yours has come from. So it's really liberating, that meditation for me, because I was able to look at money from a different point of view, you know, and I was able to, you know, hug money with what I had visualized in my mind of what money would look like. So yeah, meditations can be really good for things like that. So yes, I just say to myself, you know, you can make more money. We're making memories. So
And both, yeah.
Yeah, do both.
You're bringing up a lot of good stuff. Thank you, Nikki.
Yeah.
That's Allie.
Excellent.
That's Allie.
Oh, Allie. I'm sorry. Thank you, Allie.
Good.
That's all right. I could pretend to be South African, but I'm actually Scottish with a bit of an Aussie twang in there somewhere.
Is that Scottish with an Aussie twang?
Pretty much. When we became citizens, we became Scozzies. We're officially the Scozzies. It just goes, it works, it rhymes. I love it.
Scozzies.
Yeah. Love it. We've got our own little community happening. It's brilliant. I love it.
Now, Ellie, didn't we work around seeing family leave? You and us.
We did.
And so
We did.
today you saw, or yesterday you saw them, or today or sometime you just saw them leave. Like what did you notice when that happened?
I was really aware of my emotions as I walked into the airport. And how everybody else was dealing with the emotions, and my father-in-law, he was just a wreck. He was just didn't want to say bye to his son at all. And my mother-in-law Jean, she was the same. And we were going to have a beer in the airport and, you know, chat. So because it had to be there 4 hours before their flight. And Jimmy was like, no, it's, you know, we just drop us off. We're fine. And it was good. It was. I mean, I would love to have heard the words that they were proud of us. That didn't happen, but, you know, that's okay. That's okay. He said to me when he hugged me and embraced me, he says, "You're okay." And that's the main thing. And I was like, yeah, we're all right, Jimmy. We're good. So it ended really, really good. But it would have been nice, you know, I did think about that when you asked me what the action was. And I'm like, I've been missing that key component with magnetic mind. I've been doing that masterclass for a year and I missed that component. And do you know what I learned as well? I wanted to ask you this, Jessie. So in that book, I'm trying to think what book it is now. The Magician's Way, I think it is. In that book, there's a part in it, and it talks about there's never anything to do, but always action to take.
Mhm.
And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, how many times I'd read that in the book. And then I read something of Abraham Hicks the other day, and then we talked about something on this. And is that what, because Abraham Hicks said, someone had asked a question in the audience, and Abraham Hicks said, if you call sitting doing nothing, that calling doing nothing, then that's what that is. But really, you're not doing nothing, you're focusing. If you want to call focusing doing nothing, then, and it was the way that she said it. And I was like, that's what Jessie was talking about. That's what the book was talking about. And I kind of pieced it together, and I thought, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm on the right track.
Mhm. I find that the yes is the obvious action.
Yeah.
So what I say yes to is like, oh, that's the obvious action in front of it. And so it's like, if I say yes, then it's like, well, how do I have that?
How do I make that work? Or how does that fit?
Yep. No, it's like, oh, there we go. Boop.
Yeah. And I guess the more you focus on it, the more components you add into it, which
Mhm.
is the thought path, thought path, or whatever she calls it. It's really interesting stuff. It's really, really interesting stuff.
That's right. We don't have to make it any more complex, even though we like to.
And that's how the healing thing, like my friend bought me a book, it calls The Healer, You the Healer, it's called. I would never have bought that book just because of the words on the front of it. I've never seen myself as a healer, ever. Like Chris Duncan's taught me right from the start, we're not broken and we don't need to fix anything. And I've just locked into that emotion and I'm just running with it. So I wouldn't have picked this book up, but it's actually a really good book. It's actually teaching you about your inner dialogue. And my friend was that in on it. She had already printed me off 2 pages, A4 pages of limiting belief, unconscious words that we're actually saying to ourselves that are silent instructions, as Chris Duncan would call it, to our unconscious mind. So I'm a couple of pages in and I'm quite interested in it. So there's quite a few words that we shouldn't say, that we say on a daily basis, that are silent instructions. And some of them are really powerful, depending on the emotion that we've set around them, you know. So that's how setting our emotions in the morning and balancing out our emotions in the morning is so important before anything.
What's the name of that book, Ali?
I was just thinking, I think it's You the Healer, I think it's called. I'll find it and send it, yeah. But yeah, it looks like a really good book. It talks about your inner dialogue and teaches you, you know, things about it. So yeah.
What are some of those words that you recognize that we're using?
Let me. I'm gonna add one thing in here. I've said it before. I'll say it again here. And it is great thing. But I'll like the most important one that I think is there for us is that as they've studied children, and children hear 500 no's to 5 yeses every day.
Is that right?
Yes.
So it's like in the background of that is like that is the biggest thing that we've been conditioned behind as we
Wow.
really those are the first words that are always there.
Oh,
So
I never really thought about it like that. When you go even further into it, that's really quite powerful. You know, I'm really conscious about things that I say to my little boy now, since, you know, I've been following Abraham Hicks for the last decade and now the Magnetic Mind for the last year. And I'm so excited and so blessed to have the opportunity to have another baby and to teach and grow and create with. And he's just so switched on. And so, because he's only 3, so he's still living in that unconscious mind. And we're Superman and we're Spider-Man and we're jumping off mountains. And I'm just embracing this so much, which I didn't do so much with my little girl, you know, all them years ago. So my daughter's 16 next week. 2 weeks' time, she'll be 16. We're having a 16th birthday party. Oh my God. Mocktails we're
Love
having, guys. Mocktails and a karaoke. Oh,
those
nice.
those no's. I've been a teacher by profession for 20 years, and when you as an adult, they say the squeaky wheel gets the attention, but however, in classrooms, you want everybody to be in order and compliance so you can control and facilitate and swiftly move things. So when someone acts out of that alignment, and I had a lot of that because I taught special education with emotional issues going on. So I had to change my no's to positives. And instead of saying, seeing a child do something wrong and instead of saying, no, don't do that, automatically the no is like an alarm to the kid, and it makes them put up a defense, and
straight off.
it makes their inner being retaliate in fear, right? To build up that fear muscle. And they would just go off. So I had to learn how to speak to them. However, I was not taking the lesson so well for myself, but I had to learn to speak to them and saying, call them gently by their name. And so if a kid is like, jabbing another kid with a sharp pencil that they just sharpened, it's like, Emil, you did a really great job using the sharpener. Let's see how we can design something on the paper that you like. I had to instead of focusing on what I did not want them to do, I had to put the focus on what I did want them to do in a way that because they were all different in this kid liked to draw. I had to direct it in a positive refrain for him, and then give him close proximity and not firmly, but gently just rub my hand on his shoulder a little bit and look with anticipation of what he would draw on the paper. So it just took a lot of energy, but I had to do that and trust that the rest of the class wouldn't trip out. I had to not be concerned with the other students at that moment and give all my nurturing energy to him with anticipation and expectation of his drawing. And remember to come back in 4 minutes and appreciate his progress, so that he would stay attuned to what he was doing instead of retaliating and hurting the child. So those no's are, have to be eliminated. And then a lot of times you see kids, the parent may talk to a child and kids say, no, mommy, no. That's because that's what they've learned. That's because that's what we've taught them. See you, Allie.
Bye, Allie. Thanks. All right, guys, I'm coming up to the top of the hour here. Thank you. What a great lesson day. Choosing lessons of life, aligning to our genius, and to play your part in your expansion of life.
Thanks, guys. You have a great day, all of you.
Big love,
Have
Allie.
a good night. Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Big hugs.
And all right. Well, guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Central.